So it is time to prepare to trade the best setups at the best levels. For those of you who are serious about making money, make sure you subscribe to this channel. I'm going to be providing to you the best game plans possible to be trading at within the market. Along the way, as we recap the trades, I'm going to be teaching you the confirmations to be using at these overall levels to confirm if it's a bullish or bearish reaction, so you know which side to play on the overall level, whether it's puts or calls. With that being said, in terms of this overall game plan, we are setting up for a very simple trading day to finish out this week very, very strong within the green. If you utilize this information, you should have a phenomenal green day heading into tomorrow. It's very, very simple. And then towards the end of this video, I'm going to be breaking down the overall trades that we ended up making on Tuesday. G-Roar ended up having many wins in a row. Uncle Tio ended up going 2 for 2, smaller 30% wins, getting profits topped out. I'm going to be breaking down the amazing trades that we had on Tuesday towards the end. First things first, let's get straight into the overall analysis. So the game plan is going to be very simple. Based off of what I'm seeing on the overall daily chart patterns, this is what I have to say. So as you can see, the previous closing price is sitting at 589.49. Right now, during the extended hours trading session, the SPY is currently having a small gap down. So if the SPY opens up lower than the previous closing price, opening up with a gap down, the focus is still going to be on call options towards the oversold levels. In the last game plan that I gave you, I made it very, very clear if the SPY is reacting bearish, if the SPY is opening up flat, if the SPY is gapping down, the focus is going to be to buy call options at the lower oversold levels instead of the gap and go and break and retest strategy. In terms of the level that I had given you, it was at the gap 584.60. For those of you who used the confirmations and did not nickel and dime it, you would have been in slightly above the overall level, recognizing that there was strong pre-market support at 586. It kept on bouncing off of 586. And every single time the SPY formed green bullish 30-minute candlestick confirmations, green bullish 30-minute candlestick confirmations, literally at 585.20, slightly above the best level possible to buy call options, you know you're going to want to be buying call options when those 30-minute candlesticks are confirmed green to buy on the opening towards the next 30-minute candle and to scale into the dips and sell into the fucking rips. It was an overall choppy trading day. But if you were focused on buying calls towards the oversold levels, you could have potentially had a phenomenal green day, as the interest was not to be buying put options, and all the SPY was doing was trying to push higher throughout the day ever since it hit that oversold zone I gave you to buy call options. So again, when it comes to the best levels, you do not want to nickel and dime it. You know, if you're seeing a great confirmation on the 30-minute chart, a great pattern, you can get in slightly above or below the overall level. So the game plan is going to maintain the same. I want to be buying call options. If the SPY is reacting bearish, I want calls at the lower oversold zone. These are the zones that I'm going to have for you. So in terms of the zone, I'm going to keep an eye on the previous day lows towards this low 585.30 level. Based off of what I'm seeing on the daily chart pattern in terms of how SPY closed on the daily chart, I went back in comparison. When it does gap down and react bearish with this overall pattern and levels that we're sitting at within the market, it's going to try to attempt to bounce in between this zone. The zone is going to be the previous day lows, which is sitting around the 585.20s, and then the gap in the strong pre-market support. The gap is at 584.60 right here. There's a gap that's waiting to fill below. The pre-market support is at 584.10. Very strong wick, very strong bounce. That overall zone, if you're seeing bullish 30-minute candlestick confirmations at or slightly below the previous day lows, that's going to be a phenomenal opportunity to buy call options. Keep in mind, man, I don't always focus on calls towards previous day lows. I use a very specific set of technical strategies where it makes sense to potentially buy call options towards the previous day lows. And what I'm telling you is I've strategically planned a foundation where it's likely going to work if the SPY is reacting bearish. So that's the oversold zone for calls. Now, if the SPY is gapping up, if we are opening up higher above the previous closing price, 589.49, I will have some interest, very, very carefully, to be using the gap and go and break out and retest strategy. Based off of what I'm seeing on the daily chart, If the SPY does end up gapping up, it could be a potential opportunity to buy call options towards the break and retest levels. The break and retest level would be right here at 589.60. The next level above that is 590.40. Now, what I want you to keep in mind is, and in terms of what I'm seeing, if the SPY is gapping up, it's more likely to potentially have a gap and go and be better with the breakout and retest strategy. But if we're just opening up flat or gapping down, the main plan would be to focus on puts towards the previous day highs based off of what I'm seeing on the daily chart pattern. The previous day highs, especially if we're not gapping up. But again, use confirmations, not just daily chart foundations. Use confirmations. If you're seeing red bearish 30-minute candlestick confirmations, if you're seeing resistance towards previous day highs, towards 590.50 to pre-market highs towards 590.80 to 591, is going to be a good opportunity for puts, especially if we're just opening up flat in a sense. But even if we are gapping up, if you're seeing bearish confirmations, you can attempt puts at 590.80, which would be one of the best levels for puts. I want you to think of that as your make or break level. If it reacts bearish, it's a great opportunity for puts, previous day highs. So in terms of what I'm seeing, I'm mainly only recommending and attempting puts towards the previous day highs. And then for calls towards the previous day lows. But if we gap up or reacting bullish, I'd be more than willing to buy call options towards the make and break 589.60 break and retest level, especially on a gap up. So that's what I want you to keep in mind. Like we had discussed in terms of the beginning of this week, the SPY can attempt to close bullish in the green. For that need to happen, we need to hold above 590. 590 is going to be that make or break resistance level. And if it reacts as a resistance towards 590.50 to 590.80, you will want to be on puts. But if we break above that and hold, the SPY is going to shoot for a bullish week. So I'm telling you, man, heading into tomorrow, the main focus in the top three levels is going to be previous day highs, 589.60, previous closing price, and previous day lows. The levels are going to be different each time. Some days, I don't care for previous day highs or previous day lows. I have a foundation that I'm using on the daily chart. Along with analyzing the 10-day, 30-minute chart, you can see the SPY is in a crunch. The SPY is stuck in an overall channel. You have resistance right here at 590.70. You have support right here at 584.80, right towards the gap, right? Which in a sense is why I told you you're going to want to be buying call options when we head back towards that gap for a gap close reversal. The unique trading strategy that I've created. So I'm telling you, we're in this overall channel, and you're going to want to continue to play the overall channel. In terms of a disruption, the disruption is going to be the 590.50 level. If we gap up or if we're acting bullish, the SPY is going to fucking fly and close the week very, very bullish. So like I said, man, that make or break resistance level, man, this is going to be your zone. If the SPY is holding above 589.50, and then we break above 590.50, right? And you see a break and retest, you see the SPY is breaking above this level, it's pulling back and it's bottoming, forming a floor slightly above the level or at the previous resistance level to react to support. It's going to be that bullish trend day and really start to explode up, potentially, especially if we're gapping up, right? You got to keep in mind, man, there is a gap that is waiting to fill above in that particular situation as well at 601.50. Now, in terms of an overall ladder that I'm going to quickly give you, heading into tomorrow, this is going to be the ladder, man. So in terms of the ladder, it's going to be very simple. I'm going to break this down here. Very, very simple. 595, 595.50, 593.60, and then below that, 591 to 590.50. Below that, previous closing price, 589.49. Below that is going to be previous day lows, 585.30 to 585.20. Below that is going to be 580.50. Below that would be the best fucking level to buy call options if the SPY fucking flash crashed all the way down to 577. This previous gap and go break and retest level for a gap close reversal would be an auto buy entry for call options, 577. So use that ladder and use the foundation and the information I provided to you and use the confirmations to confirm. So when SPY hits these levels, one of the main strategies I'm using is I'm waiting to see on the 30-minute chart if it's forming a floor or if it's forming a resistance level. right? So I'm not blindly trading a bias. I have a foundation, and that foundation is going to help me in terms of setting me up for a potential trade, for a potential strategy. But I'm using confirmations, and I'm confirming on the 30-minute chart. Is support forming or is resistance forming? Is there a bullish pattern or a bearish pattern? Look at how fucking well the green, red, green was working, man. We had a green, red, green slanted to the right side, double bottom, slightly above my level, and then shortly enough, the SPY hit new fucking highs. I gave you the best level for calls. The green, red, green slanted pattern, green, red, green pattern worked to an overall extent, and the SPY ended up pushing higher. And then you have it again. Green, red, green, SPY pushed higher. So with that being said, that's the price ladder. Your job as a trader, to be self-sufficient is to determine if it's reacting as support, reacting as a resistance, and wait for the perfect confirmations, wait for the perfect patterns. When I recap the trades, I show you the exact confirmations that I ended up using on the particular trade to make it. You can use those same patterns at the new levels, right? So use that ladder, use that foundation, use that information, use that confirmation to your advantage heading into the market tomorrow. That's the overall direction I have for you. Now, in terms of Team Roar, let's get into all of the trades. So in terms of the trades, man, as you can see right here, we have a real-time zero-date options trading alert system. So in terms of these trades, these are zero-date option trades. If we enter a stock, right? So if we're not entering SPY, we enter a stock before Friday, it's not going to be a zero date, it's going to be the closest expiration, right? We don't put the expirations on the overall trade alerts that we give out because these are the closest expirations. These are the zero date options. There's no reason to, right? When you're trading zero dates or the closest expiration. So with that being said, man, tomorrow's going to be very, very special because there's many stocks that are on my radar that are going to have zero date options that are expiring tomorrow. So there might be plays, not just on SPY, but very lucrative plays on stocks as well that I'm currently watching. Not going to be getting into all that. Tomorrow we're going to crush it though. But as you can see in terms of a real-time zero-date option trading alert system, we give you an updated game plan with new key levels. And I'm not going to be going all over this in terms of an entire system. You have to be in the group to experience this and to learn this and to join this, right? But you can see before the market opens, we're strategically preparing members in terms of how to trade this overall system, right? Now, in terms of the first trade, we had 119 AMD puts for 64 cents a contract. They quickly went to 91 cents a contract. When you're up 10 to 20%, make sure that you set a profit stop. If you are green on a trade and you set a profit stop, it is impossible to go red. You will make money and get stopped out for profit instead of setting a stop loss and getting stopped out for a loss. Inside of Team Roar, we do not use stop losses. The most we put in is our max risk per trade. So our entire position size is our max risk per trade. If the contracts expire 0 and go to worthless, the most we lose is our max risk per trade. You have to decide on how much you're willing to risk for a trade. Could be 2% of your account, could be 5% of your account. The more money you have, the less you want to risk. Now, with that being said, in terms of the next overall trade, 10:14 a.m., 583 SPY puts for 67 cents a contract. These SPY puts went from 67 cents a contract very, very fucking rapidly to 84 cents a contract. That is another win in a row. Now, if you go to the third fucking win, 11:22 a.m., 591 SPY calls for 53 cents a contract. These calls quickly went all the way to 89 cents a contract. These are the actual quotes moving in real time, along with real-time commentary and analysis in terms of the system. Part of the system is setting profit stops when we're up 10 to 20%, never setting stop losses, letting the trades run and play out, and then moving the profit stops up higher to ensure that we don't get back the bulk of our gains if the market has a big move against our trade. And then, of course, we tend to add to winners a lot. So that right there, man, is just nonstop, consistently fucking winning. Then we had 590 calls for 55 cents a contract. Those ended up going to 45 cents. That was kind of a dead play in a sense. Then we had 584 SPY puts for 49 cents a contract. Those quickly went to 100 cents. Those puts went up over 600%, over a 100% profit fucking return. And then we had SPY 589 calls for 40 cents, and they quickly went all the way to that 60 overall cent range, man. All the fucking plays were printing non-fucking stop, man. In terms of Team Roar, we hit a new record on the overall leaderboard, man. There's 11,000 groups on WAP.com. In terms of, Tuesday, we ended up ranking 28. That's what we ended up, peaking at 28 on the fucking board, man. So with that being said, man, we have a real-time zero-date options trade alert system. If you're serious about making money, it is the first link down below within the overall description. I can assure you, we are going to finish out this week very, very strong in the green. We are going to be up early and ready to crush the fucking market. It's bad and annoying enough that the market was closed today. So I can assure you, man, with tomorrow being the last day to trade for the fucking week, and then this fucking weekend ahead, we are going to fucking kill it, man. It's going to be a fucking legalized bank robbery tomorrow, man. I'm telling you, we're going to absolutely crush it. With this overall game plan, along with the stocks that I have on my overall radar, man, I'm telling you, tomorrow we're probably going to have some stock trades with zero-date options expiring. We're going to absolutely fucking crush it, man. We hate having fucking days off in the market. We hate when the fucking market is closed, man. We personally would love to trade every single fucking day, but in terms of zero-date options, that's just not an option, Unfortunately, the market's closed on the fucking weekends, and then sometimes there's holidays, right? So with that being said, man, if you want to fucking crush it and kill the fucking market with us, it is the first link down below within the description for those of you who are serious about making money. We are at all-time fucking highs right now. Everyone is loving the group. Everyone is loving the community, and we are consistently making money, and we are consistently crushing it. For those of you who would like to join us, the best time to join is now. Is gonna be the first link below, down in the description, if you would like to join Team Roar. With that being said, in terms of the system, like I said, we trade zero-date options. We do not set stop losses. Risk management 101. Everything you put into an option contract is the absolute most you can lose. What we put in is our entire max risk per trade, right? We don't use a stop loss. We let the contracts expire worthless to go to zero. We trade the trend. We hold the trades. We leave runners. We sell deep in the money for the biggest percentage gains within the market. We set profit stops to ensure we don't go green to red. We move the profit stop up higher to ensure that we don't get back the bulk of our gains if the market has a big move against us. And instead of adding to losers, when we're down big on a play, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90%, a dead play, if we're right about the trend, it comes back to life. We sell it in the money for fucking green, making nice gains still. And then when we're down a lot on a play and we still believe in the player, we see another opportunity. We buy a second strike. The second strike tends to be towards the exact lows. We size in a little bit heavier, and it tends to work out phenomenally. And both trades will work as long as we're right about the overall trend, right? And then in terms of adding to winners, we add to winners to increase the gains. We set the profit stop to protect the new average cost. When we are up a small amount, 5 to 20%, we add to winners to increase the wins. We set the profit stop to protect the profits to ensure we don't go green or red. And then one small winning confirmation in our favor, which is another reason for adding, we tend to win big. We hold for the biggest fucking wins, and we make the biggest percentage gains. If you want to experience a real-time zero-date options trading alert system that offers the highest win rate in the game, along with the biggest percentage gains within the game, it is the first link down below in the description. You will also get access to our secured private network and community where you trade alongside multimillionaires. With that being said, I'm going to be signing off. I will see you guys tomorrow within the chat.